Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, which would be immediately followed by the invocation by Reverend Russell Bone of Lincoln Park Church of Christ. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ed, I don't think it's...
Say something as you think it.
Let's now bow in prayer together. Father, we're mindful of all the people in our country that are hurting and suffering. In lieu of all of that, we're so blessed to be able to live here, and we thank you for that blessing. But Father, we're praying for those that have lost loved ones in Afghanistan, in the floods, especially on the East Coast and in Louisiana. We're praying for those that are suffering because of the fires in the West. And Father, we're especially praying for our country this Saturday as we observe the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Father, you know all of the hearts and minds of our people, so we ask you to bless us. We ask you to put a hedge of protection around us, and we pray for your blessings at this time. Father, we're grateful for our council, for our city attorney, city clerk, all those, Father, that are serving you, and the mayor, and we're grateful for the way that they serve our community. And we ask you to bless them and be with them so that they will become wise even beyond their years. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
You could shut that down, Ed. All right. Thank you, Reverend, for stepping in, because you're pinch hitting, I understand, but we appreciate that greatly. So if we could have roll call, please.
Certainly. Councilpersons Dupre? Here. Higgins?
Here.
Kelsey? You're muted, Mr. Kelsey.
Here.
Ross? Here. Salcido?
Here.
Tobin? Here. And Mayor Cox?
Here. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Summer's almost gone here. So tomorrow is the first day of school, and for most of the school is in Lincoln Park is going to be live. That means that kids are going to be out on the roads again, walking into school. So be prepared for that. Watch out for them when they're crossing. Pay attention to those no turn on reds during school hours, because they are back at it. Half day for the next 2 days, and then full day on Friday, depending on how the whole COVID thing goes. As you're mentioning 9/11 back in 2001, and most of the kids that are going to school in Lincoln Park, I think, other than maybe the seniors, or actually all of them, were not alive at the time that this took place. Quite a thing that changed the future of American history as we knew it. It's just working as fate would have it as a traffic, one of the traffic personnel for the Lincoln Park at that time that morning when the plane ran in. And so you go in and you're watching it on the monitors, and all of a sudden, is that an accident or is it on purpose? And the second one slams into the tower, and then the Pentagon gets hit, and then the other plane goes down. Circumstances, you think back at, we didn't know what was going to be happening at that time. Was this a massive attack? Were there going to be hundreds of planes that were down? You called in, we got everybody together, and you're making plans for that eventuality. And it's something that I hope that we do not have to face again on such a massive scale as that. So, and I think that I'm just going to leave that. Well, no, one more thing here. We had we started early today at 6 o'clock. We had three things planned for a study session that we were going to speak on. One was the water rates and what we were going to have to do in order to build up funds to protect the water lines and such if we're ever going to have to get to the work done, and the massive water loss that we have. If you have the ability, and when these do go online on our YouTube channel, I recommend everybody get an opportunity to watch those. It's very informative about what it is, the decisions that we're going to have to make, that unfortunately is going to cost us all. Everybody that lives in Lincoln Park is going to have to pay part of the price. The money that we got from the federal government may help that, and may lessen the amount that they have to pay, but there is going to be an increase. So you need to watch that. Second thing was the police department and the need for additional enforcement, and I recommend that you look at that also. The third topic that we had at the study session was for the alleys and the maintenance and the care. If you've gone down the alleys, you've noticed that by and large, most of them are been taken care of by the people that butt up against it. But there are several extreme examples that this is not being done, and we need to get a handle on who is going to clean up these, who's going to pay for it if it's us. But you don't need to the alleys to become jungles that you can't get through. So that is a little bit about what council did leading up to this meeting here at 7:30, and with that, I'll move on to the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approve minutes, regular meeting held August 16, 2021. 2, solicit bids, vegetation and debris removal of 2215 Seacott. 3, charitable solicitation, KFC annual Tootsie Roll Drive. 4, renewal annual pawn broker's license, 1456 Fort Street. 5, approve secondhand dealer's license, 1119 Fort. 6, attend training, finance director.
I'll move.
Okay. Any discussion? Thought it wouldn't be. Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Before I say yes, I am a member of the Knights of Columbus in Lincoln Park, so I still say yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, then we will. Our first action item has a cover letter from the chief of the fire department, Steve Martin. I think that the resolution cover letter is contained in the resolution. So whereas the Lincoln Park Fire Department, along with the Wyandotte, Southgate, Allen Park, Harper Woods, Brownstown, and Groseal Fire Departments applied for and were awarded a regional grant through FEMA's Assistance to Firefighter Grant, AFG, to purchase new self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA, to help increase safety and interoperability between departments. And whereas the lifespan of the current self-contained breathing apparatus utilized by the firefighters will soon be out of compliance with NFPA 1852 standard on selection, care, and maintenance of open-circuit self-contained breathing apparatus, and as required by MIOSHA General Industry Safety Standards Part 7-4 firefighting. And whereas accepting this grant will alleviate the city from bearing the entire cost for the purchase of this new equipment. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council accept this 2020 FEMA AFG grant with the approved project cost total of $504,636.36 and agreed to pay the city's portion of the cost share requirement of $15,864. Funds to come from account number 101-340-757.
Support.
Okay, discussion? The clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Through the chair, before we move on the consent agenda, where it is, secondhand dealer, it says 4th Street on the agenda and it says Dick's on the application. And I just want to clarify, is this the one on 4th Street at Emmons or is this on Dick's?
The secondhand dealer is on Dick's, I'm sorry.
It's on Dick's, okay, thank you.
So it's 1119 Dix?
Yes, I'll correct the consent agenda resolution.
Thank you.
Next item has a cover letter from the Chief of Police, Raymond Waters. The police department needs to replace Unit 411. The Pro unit recently suffered significant damage from an accident. The Lincoln Parks Insurance Company, Michigan Municipal League, is paying $39,300 to replace the totaled out Unit 411. Whereas the Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting to purchase one 2022 Ford Explorer, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize the police department to waive the bidding process and purchase one 2022 Ford Explorer for a total cost of $34,554 from Signature Ford, a qualifying state bid pricing dealership. Be it further resolved, funds for the purchase of the 2022 Ford Explorer to come from police department's forfeiture capital account 265-320-983-000, period VH04.
So moved.
Support.
And Chief, so the money is going to come from forfeiture first, and then will come from the insurance company after, and it'll be replaced?
Yes, sir. It will just get reimbursed.
Okay. Further discussion?
Just a quick note, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
And they said the insurance company's paying $39,300 and the quote was $34, so there's like $4,800 extra. Is that going to the police fund or it's just a wash with the insurance?
I think that would be the computerized stuff inside, but Chief?
Yes. Excuse me. So there were some things that, from the crash that out of 411 that we took out, we'll be able to reuse again, but there's a few things that we'll have to, get new because of the, how severe the damage was, so we'll use that money towards that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has been moved by Council President Salcido and supported by Councilman Higgins. Resolved that the special meeting be scheduled for September 20, 2021 at 6 p.m. regarding building department operations. Be it further resolved that in accordance with Public Act 254 of 2020 and Wayne County's emergency order, City of Lincoln Park will conduct this meeting remotely using Zoom. This action is intended to facilitate necessary city business without unduly compromising public health, safety, and welfare. Attendees may participate in the meeting using Zoom, either online or by phone. So we have discussion. No, it's been moved and supported already, folks. We have, so we have discussion now.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes, go ahead.
we've already talked about the building department, and we were supposed to schedule a meeting by now to discuss it again. It's supposed to come back to us, and it hasn't, and that is why I seconded that we bring this up and talk about it.
Okay. Do we have further discussion? All right. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes?
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Cox.
Yes. Have, next item is resolved that Timothy Rona, 17614 Ford Boulevard, be and is hereby appointed to the Local Officers Compensation Commission, term to expire May 1, 2026.
Support.
I'm sorry, who moved on that? Okay.
So, are we good?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a nice conversation with Mr. Rona, and he's going to be an excellent fit for that. So, do we have further discussion? All right, clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Cox.
Yes. Okay, next item that we have is, whereas the Lincoln Park Exchange Club's annual Lincoln Park Days was canceled due to the daily increase in COVID cases throughout the area, and whereas the Lincoln Park Exchange Club wishes to provide a safe event for the residents, now therefore be it resolved that Mayor and Council hereby approve a contactless drive-through carnival food truck event in the community center parking lot, 3523 Dix on September 10, 2021 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and from noon to 8 p.m. on September 11th and 12th, 2021. Insurance on file, cost recovery to be paid after the event. Okay, so Councilman Kelsey moved and supported by Councilman Higgins.
Dupre, I guess not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had Councilwoman Dupre, so.
No, you're right. I heard a couple voices in there.
Okay.
So the moving
Lady.
on to discussion.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I was just curious if our police chief has looked at the map of the traffic flow. I know we've done this last year, but for some reason, for me, it just looks a little bit different. I just want to make sure that, I know how Sonic gets backed up, and I believe they did really well last year. So,
Chief, have you had the ability to review the traffic flow proposed for the event, and are you good with it? Do you have concerns?
Yeah, it seems like it should work.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Do we have further discussion? All right, clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Cox.
Yes. Next item is resolved that special event permit number 8 be approved for a cornhole contest fundraiser in support of the American Legion and the Historical Museum. The event will be held at the American Legion Hall, 1430 Southfield Road on September 25, 2021 from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m.
So move, and I'd like to make a statement.
I'll support.
Then go ahead, sir.
Number one, I'd like to tell people, open up that I am on the committee that's doing this. And number two, I would like to make a motion to waive payment on this, since it is for our own museum and also for a veterans group.
So that would be in addition to the motion to approve the special event?
Yes,
So do we need a support for it?
yes, I believe I would need support for that.
I'll support it.
Well, if it was just a change to the thing, then we could have just added it without, if it was good with the support, the original supporter.
I'm the original supporter, so yes.
Okay. Okay, and so who made the motion?
Mr. Higgins made the motion to amend the resolution, and Ms. Ross seconded that.
Okay, but for the approval of the permit number 1, who are the originals?
The originals were the same two.
All right, so in the discussion of the amendment, I mean, is this normally what we do for veteran groups and the such? I'm just,
We have done this in the past, and waived for different groups. And like I said, the museum especially, that is a city, a city program. And I believe we should waive for them.
okay.
And
How are the funds going to be divided between the two groups, if you know?
it will be divided 50-50.
Okay. Are there further discussions on the amendment? Then we will, clerk call the roll on the amendment?
Okay. Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin. You're muted, ma'am.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So we then move forward on the resolution as amended. Clerk call the roll?
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, and then lastly, we had a miscellaneous to reschedule the alley study session.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Resolved that a special meeting be scheduled for October 4th, 2021 at 6:30 PM regarding alley maintenance. Be it further resolved that in accordance with Public Act 254 of 2020 and Maine County's emergency order, the City of Lincoln Park will conduct this meeting remotely using Zoom. This action is intended to facilitate necessary city business without unduly compromising public health, safety, and welfare. Attendees may participate in the meeting using Zoom, either online or by phone.
So moved.
Support.
Support.
Okay, do we have any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to, waiting another month, and I know you've driven down the alleys, and I know several of us have, there are alleys out there that are just not safe, period. And our citizens are in jeopardy if they walk down the alley or a kid is in the alley. And I don't like, and if we put it off till October, if we're going to then write tickets, if that's what happens, they ask people to clean up, then we're getting into winter, and some of the situation is going to be stuck here for another year, or at least through the winter. I think this is something that we need to discuss sooner than a month. I don't know what we do about that, because I know we already have something scheduled for our next council meeting. We do have open days in between.
But what we're talking about here is that who's going to pay for the type of cleanup and such. From what I've seen with a couple of the alleys, they were you could not go down them due to the condition of the pavement. So I was going to propose to the city manager to have the sections of those alleys checked to make sure that they're safe to travel, and if they're not safe to travel, then to shut them down.
I agree that will work for the cement problem, but it does not cover all the bush, tree, and some of those, which right now there are alleys where if a kid runs out in the alley, you're not going to see them if you're coming down that alley. And this needs to be addressed sooner rather than later.
Okay, sir. Is there further discussion?
To the chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I don't disagree with Councilman Higgins, but we wouldn't be in this boat if we didn't have a confusing charter and an ordinance, and that's just the way it is. And unfortunately, that's where we're at with it. So maybe we can have it like on a Monday, off Monday, between now and the 20th, if that's okay with Mr. Higgins.
That's what I was suggesting.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, that's what I'm suggesting, to go along with it. If the ones are deemed to be that bad, we just move the whole discussion up and just take care of the whole thing at one time.
Okay, sir, are you proposing an amendment? Are you moving on an amendment to that to make it on September 13th?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, the
Chair?
time, hold on a second, the time continuing?
Would be at 6:30.
Okay. Now, is there a second on the amendment?
I will second that.
Okay, we're going to have discussion on the amendment currently, so, of the change of dates. Is there discussion on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I was just curious, I thought Mr. Zelenak was going to get some information from the judge.
He should be able to get that within a week's time.
Okay.
Is there further discussion on the amendment? Clerk, call the roll on the amendment.
So the amendment is for September 13th at 6 p.m.
6:30, I thought.
6:30? Okay,
30.
sorry. I was writing really fast.
I heard you.
Okay,
So, call the roll, please.
certainly. Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Hovind,
Yes.
and Mayor Carts.
Yes. So, we now have the resolution as amended. Is there discussion on that? Can clerk call the roll?
Councilperson Salcido,
Yes.
Dupre, Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Hovind,
Yes.
and Mayor Carts.
Yes. Okay, next we go to accounts and claims payable. You have one, Blue Cross Blue Shield, being paid for the medical for the retirees. That check has been released for the due date. So we have resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. Bell equipment repairs to city fleet sweepers, $29,803.41. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, September 2021 retiree med advance plans and retirees and actives, $189,335.16. DUWA, June 2021 sewer usage fees, $130,135.93. GV Cement, 2021 concrete reconstruction, 2021 CDBG concrete improvements, $382,839.66. Great Lakes Contracting, 2021 concrete utility repairs, $82,071.12. Hennessy Engineers, site plan review, Lafayette intersection emergency repair at 1130 Cleveland. EPA risk and resilient assessment, Howard and Abbott paving. River Drive recon, 2021 concrete reconstruction, 2021 asphalt resurfacing, 2021 utility pavement, Lafayette water main revocation, 2019 SRF sewer rehab, $75,610.08. McKenna Associates, July 2021 Building Department Services Rentals, $59,076.23. MERS, August 2021 Defined Benefit, $246,000. $96.95. Michigan Municipal Pool Premium Renewal 2021-2022, $750,866. State of Michigan MDOT River Drive Reconstruction, $63,483.41. City of Riverview July 2021 Dumping Service, $31,125.59. SC Kerr LLC EDC Small Business Loan, $25,000.
Support.
A discussion?
So through the chair, Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
somebody explain what the pool premium renewal is?
Yeah, that's my question.
Well, that covers, Michigan Municipal League is our insurer. When we get sued, when the police department gets sued, any suit comes into this, they represent us with the deductible. That's their cost for protecting us for civil liability for the year.
So it's not swimming pool related, that's what I was getting at.
No, it's not.
Last question.
It also covers, sorry, if I could speak real quick, it also covers all of our vehicles, buildings,
Yep.
all the owned property as well.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank
Last
you.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
In regards to the street sweeper, that fleet sweepers, the $30,000 bill, are our sweepers working currently?
James or John, if you can answer that?
You do, John.
He's holding up two fingers, which leads me to believe we have two working. I do know one was out today.
I'm sorry, thank you. Leaves are starting to fall, thank you.
Okay.
Through the chair,
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
could we have more discussion on the sweepers, on that 29,000? The reason the other two sweepers are down is that in relation to the repairs that were already made? And if so, or if not, I mean, are any of these repairs, I mean, at 29,000, are any of them guaranteed or warranted?
Oh, go ahead.
That's my question, Your Honor.
John, we're looking at, well, one, the alternatives, I'm going to defer for the city manager's report, which will just be in a second. The question on if there's warranties for the work for the amount that we're getting on the sweepers. John?
For that money that is being spent tonight, it's multiple repair parts for all four sweepers. Is there a warranty on the parts with the conditions of our roads? The answer is no. It will warranty the workmanship, but they will not warranty the parts.
Your Honor, if I may continue.
Yes, go ahead.
I guess at 29,000, is there a way to, I guess what I'm looking for would have been like to get an estimate of what the repairs would have been before we spent this kind of money?
If I may, I don't know how to do that because it's basically they don't know how bad some of the parts are until they open up the sweepers, and repair item A, and we put it out on a demo sweeping, and come to find out item B is not functionable. Have to repair item B, same thing until we have them functionable. They can look at what they think is wrong, hope that it isn't wrong, try it out, find out it's wrong, then it has to be repaired.
So are the sweepers repairable, Mr. Kazoo, or are we going to call it on these sweepers?
It depends on the cost and the ability and inability to get the mechanic to do the repairs, and number two, to find the parts for sweepers that are 17 years old.
Okay. I'm a little bothered at spending this kind of money and still not have working sweepers.
Well, we do have two functionable sweepers, and we still have two that are not yet functionable.
But they worked on all four?
Yes, simultaneously.
Okay.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us an idea of what you're looking at to get the other two sweepers up and going?
Okay, folks, we're talking specifically on the money spent for the 29,000. We're going to be going into the city manager's report directly after that. So after we approve the accounts and claims payable, unless there are specific questions for that, I'm going to defer that. And then James, you can take that up as soon as we're finished with this resolution. So is there discussion on the resolution itself? Then clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Cons.
Yes, so we will move now directly into the city manager's report. So James, could you have a discussion on the sweepers?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the last I was aware, we had two sweepers that had very similar issues. These are the two that are yet to be repaired. And John, please feel free to chime in. The last I knew, we had one that was ready to be put back together. It just required the actual attention of the mechanic and needed another set of hands or two to help get that up and running. And I think the other one was in a very similar spot. They're just at the point where it's time to get them back together and get them on the road. So hopefully we can have that done within a week or two here. Other priorities notwithstanding. Right, John?
I would agree with that, yes, sir.
Okay.
Maureen?
A couple of my other notes here. Tonight we've had a pretty busy night, even though it's still only 8:10. We started early. As we keep going through and talking about all these issues are really attributable to funding, right? And looking for new funding sources and continuing to move forward in the city. And older cities like ours are the most hamstrung by Headley, Prop A, and the various property tax reform that has taken place over the last 50 years in the state. And also, as we're talking about, I think we need to make sure we're framing the discussion about traffic enforcement in a way where we're not getting into the ideas of minimum tickets and quotas and any of that. We need to make sure we're looking at it from a safety standpoint and not revenue generating, even though the two discussions do tend to overlap at times. So a couple other issues that have come up over the last...
James, let me interrupt just for a second.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Tobin, did that answer your question that you're looking for, or did you have additional for that?
No, I was wondering if there was an estimated cost to repair the other two sweepers. Are we going to get another $30,000 bill next year or next month?
Based on my knowledge of it, I don't think we should be, seeing as how we have them in-house right now to finish it. John, do you have anything further on that?
Oh, do not. There will be, we have one that I've got a labor cost, and then a second one, which is a labor cost internally.
And is that an estimate? Do you have an estimate on those costs or no?
You just need to get it.
You're muted.
But these would be costs just associated with our own mechanics, if that's correct.
Right.
So that shouldn't be excessive.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, last week a concern was raised over some graffiti citations and other blight that happened along 4th Street. Just so everybody is aware, the citations weren't citations. Citations were just notices to repair, even though they looked like citations. So there has been no change in process there. Quick promotion here. This Saturday will be the final Ecorse Creek cleanup event of the summer. Our event will be taking place at Council Point Park, starting at, I believe, 9 a.m. Still looking for volunteers to come out and help, and should be a good event after it. We're going to have a lunch. I believe it's a box lunch that will take place at Council Point Park, and there will be some raffles. Quick shout out to Mystery Escape Room. They donated a $200 gift card for this, and I believe we've got 2 or 3 other local gift cards donated for this, as well as some from Ecorse and Wyandotte. So, Mayor and Council received an email from me earlier today that the front door at City Hall did suffer some vandalism over the weekend. It looks like it did happen Saturday night into Sunday morning. We were able to catch the incident on video and turn it over to the police department, who are looking to try and identify the suspect. So we'll keep you guys posted as that comes along. We were able to get the window repaired, but it's supposed to sit dormant for, they said 24 hours. We're going to play it safe and go a little bit longer. So the front of City Hall will continue to be closed going through tomorrow, and then on Wednesday we'll get back to our normal traffic pattern through City Hall. Last week the Court Management Council did meet, and it does sound like there is some significant progress, as we're being told, regarding the audits. The court is acknowledging at this point that they have been collecting excessive revenue over what their budgeted revenue has not been what they've actually expended, so they do have some additional revenue. And so that is actually money that should be coming back to us, at least if nothing else on our books, to show that we have that asset out there. So that should be coming back soon. And then the last thing I want to throw out here is there's supposed to be some significant rain coming, some decent storms tonight. I don't think they've started yet, but just so everybody knows, be safe. If you see a flooded roadway, don't drive on it. Please don't drive on people's front lawns. If you see a flooded roadway, just turn around and go the other way, please. So that is all I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have for me.
Is there anything for the city manager?
Through the chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I have a few questions, James. Because the CDBG was on the consent agenda, it just kind of triggers this question to you, or rather, I would like a list of CDBG homes that we own and what their status is.
Okay.
Okay. You mentioned the Court Management Council meeting. Is there some reason why that was not posted on our website?
It should have been posted on our website. If it wasn't, then it was an oversight. I had sent it out to be posted. I don't know if it did. I can look into it though.
What I would like to see happen is, when you are aware of a court management meeting, is it possible to email the rest of us?
Yeah, I absolutely can.
Okay. And then, please feel free to use my address also for the water rate examples.
Okay.
And that's it.
Anyone else for the city manager?
For the chair, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
It is starting to rain, just so you know. My question is, has the firm that did the DPS study, have they finally reported their findings?
So I did have conversation. They're still waiting on some of our local communities around us to get back to them for some final numbers for the final staffing bit. And honestly, without the staffing bit, there's really no point in looking at it until we get that. So I'm gonna also help and try and get a few other communities to get back with them. Hopefully, if nothing else, we'll have a draft that we can get out to you this week.
All right, thank you.
Anything?
To
Go ahead.
Claire,
Yes, go ahead.
James, do you know if there are plans to get the cement out of the park in front of the County Memorial Building from the tennis courts? It's been almost a month that it's been sitting there now.
I will make sure that gets out.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for the city manager? All right, then hearing none, then we will move on to the department head report. This week's meeting is the building department. So we have our building department official, John Myers. John?
Mayor and Council, thank you very much for letting me share for a few minutes. I have given each of you a digital and a hard copy of a fiscal 2020-2021 report with some additional pieces involved. So you can feel free to peruse that at your own leisure and call or contact me, and we'll be glad to talk about any details you have concerns about in it. But I want to highlight just a couple of things. We went through the governor's restriction pandemic over this last year, and in that process we turned over in January 4 new staff members, and I can encouragingly tell you that we have met the budget for this fiscal year and probably went past it by about $21,000. So in the changes and with the restrictions in the city, we were able to still maintain a business strategy and supporting the development of the city. Several of the things that might be of interest to you, we've been talking for quite some time, and I tabled it as the director because of the first 2 documents that came through the door for a procedures manual. We are now in the final reading and drafting of an operating procedures manual. Hopefully we'll have it done, as I hoped, in the first quarter of this year, which would be the end of this particular month, and we'll have a chance to read through it and then make it an active living document moving forward in our city building department. Next, number one, now made any commission, and there's a little first, and then 15 day apples, they're both.
I think we just lost the feed here for a second. All anybody's seeing is what I see on my working on getting our connection back. It's raining harder than we anticipated. Hopefully it doesn't shut down.
Rainy night in Georgia or in Memphis.
Hope it doesn't shut that down.
I have to be outside, so.
I've had my thing saying my connection's unstable. So I do think we're getting
We're back.
into some interesting weather here.
We are back, anyway.
I am back.
Yes, you are.
I finished my report. Is there any questions?
Very good.
There you go.
Myers has a large renovation program. It'll take some period of time. You'll see on their property about 30 semi-trucks are filled with equipment. That project will go on probably all the way through the end of this fall and into the winter season. Then we have Clearwater's Car, which is at, I believe it is 3727 Dix. It's on the corner of Emmons. It's the empty lot beside the Sonic building. That one is now going through planning. It is now going through the building department as well as the Hennessy engineers, and hopefully they will open ground with Wayne County's approval in the next 5 to 14 days. Taco Bell is also on Southfield. They have a contract to open and build a second Taco Bell. I believe it's on the 15th block. It's on the corner of Southfield and Lafayette. That project is moving forward and is intended to be started before the winter and then completed by the end of this fiscal year, this calendar year. And also we have, the Aldi's has a large major renovation program. We have one piece of documentation for them to complete, and then they'll be renovating that commercial building as well. So there's several larger projects that are on the table that we look forward to seeing the development in the city. We've already talked about the procedures manual. That is in its final reading stages. We are working towards a continued education program for all of our building inspectors starting this September, and be able to see that progress and assist them going forward. There's another thing that we're attempting to do this fall. We're going to do a partnership with all the community commissions. I believe that is going to be scheduled for September 27th. So all of our commissions, along with EDC and DDA and all of the rest of those, will be having a joint meeting. From that meeting, we would like to branch off and have a public awareness meetings every quarter with all businesses relating to the building department, so that their concerns, their questions can be heard by us and then answered by us in response to them, so that, as we did with the rental program 2 years ago, we would like to rebuild the relationship with the business so they know exactly what to anticipate, what to expect, and what concerns they have, that we can assist in getting better information to them at a more reasonable time. So those are probably the fast-paced pieces that we're working on right now. And the forward project that we'd like to start, if not finish in this first quarter of 21 fiscal year, is a stronger footprint for tracking and communication in our BSNA system. The two dynamic pieces that we're going to start with will be online inspection scheduling, and then online application development. In other words, they would do all their applications for every permit or application system on the BSNA system. So once we have finished those testing models with BSNA, we'll put a date to publicly make them a Go Active and Go Live program. So that will allow more accuracy to be handled by both citizens, business people, and contractors than to have as many hands involved from my office. So hopefully those three things will allow us to strengthen our digital print without missing the public service to the non-skilled computer people, as well as reduce our paper trail and reduce the amount of paper and print that we use in the building department moving forward. At that, I have the rest of it is available for you to study and review. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to entertain them as long as the computer holds out.
Questions? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Myers, nice seeing you. Quick, two questions. Was the Myers project a remodel, or are they building something else in the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's both. It's a major project it's a multi-million-dollar project, expanding the building, as well as reconstructing a major piece inside the building in their cooler systems, their building systems. They'll be doing some room remodeling inside, as well as expanding out of their pharmacy.
Thank you. Last question. This quick question. Yes or no answer. In regards to LP Pride, sometimes they send you emails to check out maybe a resident or a business, correct?
Correct.
Are you caught up on those calls currently?
I think so.
All right. Thank you very much.
What we do is, when we get them, I now forward them immediately, especially if it's a text or an email. I forward them to the building department code enforcement officer, and we request them to have 24 hours to look into it, report back to me, and we'll make a collective decision of what can and cannot be done.
Thank you very much. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I got a couple questions. First, my favorite building, you know what I'm talking about, Dix and Goddard. Has there been any movement on that building? Does it look at where the old big boys used to be?
Yes,
There's been a trailer coming and going. What's the deal?
they have permits pulled for electrical and reconstruction of the front half of the building. They have agreed to leave the back 4,516 feet off and not used. They do have another problem that has arisen. Their tenant that had set a permit to lease that property from them after it was finished has vacated their lease. And so the St. Vincent de Paul program that was moving from the Lincoln Park Plaza that went there has now chosen not to run their facility out of that building. So they're in the process of finishing their electrical, mechanical, and plumbing renovations. We'll grant them those permits as approved, and then we'll wait to see what goes in that building next.
Okay, my other question is, and I'm getting this from a lot of people, the two marijuana businesses, have they cleared the building department completely?
Nope, they have not. The one has cleared, both of them have cleared planning. One has some drawings that are needed to be revised, and then they need to schedule and pay for their building permits. And once those building permits, we'll be able to build.
Thank you.
Anything further for Mr. Myers?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may.
Yep.
Your Honor. John, what's going on in the Lincoln Park Southfield Market and the Lincoln Park Plaza Conception? I see we paid some bills tonight for getting ready to do something on those two properties, or those two, if you want to call projects. What do you know about those, or where are they going?
Are you talking about Lincoln Park Plaza?
Yeah, look, it says the Lincoln Park Plaza Conceptual on the bill that we just paid for $1,800 for Beckett Raider.
That plaza is probably going to spend more time in court than they will be in their plaza development. We have granted them 6 months ago that we would release for legal issues and grant them the right to have CFOs of businesses that wanted to open. And three of them now that originally wanted to open are now all open. However, they have not complied with our commercial code and have not met the demands. In fact, they have asked for permission to fence off almost just over 50% of the population of the parking lot into a fencing section. We've denied that request, and we continue to spread the violations into civil infractions.
What about the Lincoln Park Southfield Market? Do you think about that?
I don't know it off the top of my head. I have to look into the details for that.
Those are DDA projects, I believe, that they're working on.
Mayor,
Go ahead, James.
Mayor, if I may real quick, yeah, those are DDA, EDC projects that they're providing the funding. They show up on our check registry, of course, because we write the checks for them, but they're funding them. They are projects, I believe, to be developing kind of a conceptual plan for that we can use to help market the properties.
That's correct.
Is that connected to the Southfield corridor?
No, not yet.
All right.
Sort of, but not yet.
Right.
All right. Well, that's about all I got. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, John.
Anything else? Anything else for Mr. Myers? Okay. Thank you, sir. We'll then move on to oral reports of citizens, or citizens' comments, rather. I'll just put it that way. Is there anyone that would care to address council? James, if you could unmute everyone.
I've asked everybody to unmute.
So it's up to them right now.
Yes.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so we'll move on to oral reports of the mayor and council. And in the process of the last meeting, I screwed up, so we're going to start off with Councilwoman Dupre.
Caught me off guard.
Sorry.
Okay. Today I attended the firearm training simulator exercises with the police department, as I understand some other council people have done, and I was there with DC Lavis and a couple of other officers that were doing the simulations, and it was really fun to watch. It keeps them on, keeps them, I wouldn't say on their toes, because they are already, but, it just, with the action, and it was really a good experience, and they were all so nice today. They were just wonderful. But I did get a call from a resident, Renee Walton. She had spoken to many of us last week. The gal she had broken both her feet. And she had commented today about the things that she was talking about Quant Park, and there was another area, and they weren't cleaned up yet, and she was having a problem with that. So I did explain to her about some of the DPS staffing issues, if nothing else. The DPS list is really long, but it seems that we're having to explain that a little more often than we used to. So I just want to put that out there. And other than that, everybody have a good night.
Thank you, ma'am. Council President Salcido.
Oh, sure. Good evening, residents of Lincoln Park. Just a quick couple things. I want to plug a couple of businesses. The National Auto Glass on Dixon Champaign. I recently had my windshield chipped 3 different times, and it finally cracked. So my insurance company suggested that I go to Safe Light and have them come over and fix it. And I was very adamant about getting it done in Lincoln Park. And finally, my insurance company agreed to have that work done in Lincoln Park. So, also Downriver Spring on Dix, I had a cooling system checked out. They're on near Gregory on Dix. They were very thorough with my car. If you need any work done, I suggest you go there. They do all kinds of automotive work. My stance on alleys, I can't emphasize more, and as Councilwoman Dupree just mentioned, as council, we get a lot of phone calls, text messages. People at Myers, they want to have answers to, like the police questions we have, traffic division, alleys, and then, we have to report back to them. That's why it's important that we have these studies. And, my stance on alleys, if you're a homeowner and your tree root is in your yard and it's sticking over in the alley, the homeowner should fix it. If there's a tree in the alley and it's behind a business, I believe that business should take care of that. That's my stance. That they want to have their trash picked up, they want to have their deliveries, they should make that alley look nice. But I know we're going to have a study in a couple weeks, so I'll say more on that. In closing, as the mayor pointed out in his opening remarks, the school does start tomorrow. Be safe when you see kids walking in the streets, slow down, and observe the no turn on red signs by the schools. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. It was mentioned earlier tonight, I'm going to mention it again, the cornhole tournament is going to be held at the American Legion, which is at 1430 Southfield, right across the street from City Hall. This will be to raise money for both the Legion and also our museum. There's going to be two-player teams. There's going to be food. There's going to be other prizes out there, and it's going to be a very fun day. And I encourage everybody to come out. September 25th, 2 good causes come together, and let's raise some money for our museum. Another fun thing this coming weekend, citywide garage sale. Get out, have a good time. And also I'd like to put a plea in for being safe because school's open. The little kids don't look, so we have to look for them. And I've already put my 2 cents in about the alleys, so I'm gonna say it again. There's a lot of alleys especially on the north end of Lincoln Park, that are in the neighborhoods that are just not safe right now, and we have to make some decisions, and we have to do it right. And any citizens that are out there who would like to let us know about their alley, please let us know so we can talk more cohesively about it next Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Tobin?
Hi, everybody. So the concert series have ended for the year. I think we had a really, really good season. I want to report that we have the Black Box Challenge at every concert, and this year's winner was the last band that played, and it was Major Dudes. We raised almost $7,000 through that Black Box for the Summertime Kids program and the Summer Concert Series this year. Very close. So I commend all the bands, the food vendors that donated to us, and of course the residents and the guests that were there to help support these causes. Let's see, we got the food fair approved tonight, so this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, go get yourself some elephant ears and popcorn and corn dogs and all that, and support the Exchange Club, because we will be able to give our scholarships out to graduating seniors and all the other groups that we help in the city, so that's a really good thing. And we have the Zombie Apocalypse coming out October night. I'm looking for 19 more people that would like to decorate their trunks and be part of this. We have it structured so there's a lot of social distancing, keep these kids safe, but it's something that they're all going to look forward to. So if anybody is interested in becoming part of this, please email events@citylp.com, and they can give you the right paperwork to sign up. And the Lincoln Park Police Department has joined forces with the Woodhaven Police Department, and they will be out on September 11th at Down the River Veterans, helping paint the building. So I want to commend the LPPD on that. Thank you guys for doing that. And just watch out for the kids going back to school, everybody. Keep them safe. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Ross?
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to start out by just mentioning the employment opportunities within the city, and that is a full-time firefighter, a full-time mechanic, a full-time police officer, a full-time public service worker, a part-time community events coordinator, a part-time laborer, and a part-time recreation attendant. And of course, more information on those on the website. The Wayne County Vaccination Clinic that is held at the community center, of course, is open tomorrow. It seems like that's our day. It's Wednesdays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. But if for some reason that doesn't work for you, Wayne County does operate other vaccine clinics in Belleville, in Flat Rock, in Harper Woods, Livonia, and Taylor. So I just thought that was important to pass along. If you don't have your vaccine yet, you may want to do that. I also want to thank Kiwanis for their generous donation of 350 books that we were able to pass out at the Cops Care backpack giveaway. And so with that, I need to thank my sons for their help, because I could not do that without them. And of course, it was mentioned the citywide garage sale, but I think it's important to mention that it starts Friday. This time we've included Friday. So happy garage sailing. And while we are out and about, I would like to ask that we all keep our eyes open and just kind of glance at our city buildings, because not only did we have the City Hall door damaged, but we also had a small fire outside the museum. Luckily, the damage was minimal, but if you see something, please call it in. And that's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And Councilman Kelsey?
Your Honor. The Cops Care Backpack Picnic was really well done. And I'd like to thank the Masonic Lodges in Lincoln Park, the Architect, Ionic, and the Wolverine Lodges that donated money so that the backpacks could be filled with supplies for the kids. And I had the pleasure of standing with Councilwoman Ross and her sons Andy and Tony and passing out books. And it was a good hot day, but it was a good time. So I want to thank the police and everybody involved, Masonic groups in Lincoln Park, and the Kiwanis for the books, and the police department, and all the people that helped out. It really went fast with time. It didn't seem like that, but it went fast real quick. A couple other things, and I hate to get into business, but that's what we do here. Is I think I'd like to make a motion, Your Honor, that we write a letter to the state of Michigan, to our representatives, Kara Clementi and Marshall Bullock, informing them about the lead line, $78 million we got to go ahead and take care of. I think they need to know about that, our position on it. We are going to have to raise water rates to help cover that. I also think, Your Honor, that it would be very beneficial if they came down to our town halls so they can explain on their level, because they're up in Lansing, about the lead lines, why it came about, what it is, and why the cities are tasked with that money without the money to do it. I mean, $78 million is nothing to sneeze at, and they are our representatives, just like we're the representatives of the people. And I think it's important that we invite them officially, and also ask them officially in their position on the committees they hold about what they can do to maybe soften the $78 million blow that we're going to have to take in the next 10 to 20 years. So I would like to make that motion, Your Honor. I'm looking for a second. And we can...
I will be proud to second that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then it's, so to be straight, it was asking them to participate in our town halls when we have them, and to use their powers to lessen the economic impact of the, was it 37 million that's been that we have to do, that we have to pay? It's probably more than that.
78 million.
78 million, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it was a big number.
Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
all right, then all in favor? Oh, I can't do that. Clerk, call the roll.
Is this something that he wants to put on the next agenda, have somebody write up for him to be on the next agenda?
We can do that, however the process is, either, yeah.
That's probably a better choice than trying to fly by the seat of our pants right now. This is past when we're supposed to do business and reports and...
Well, I just didn't know, because there's no, through the city man, the chairman, through the city clerk, I didn't know where there was a point to make motions as a council person. There is no point out of it.
Well, but in honesty, you don't need to make the motion. As long as, James, if you got the information down, we'll just go ahead and send that out to them.
I think we have some clear direction on what you guys would like, and we can bring it back for the next meeting.
So we'll go ahead and we'll draft it and we'll send it out.
That's fine. This we got, so thank you. And thank you, Carrie, for keeping us straight. Especially me.
Almost a full-time job.
Folks, back to business here.
Yes, back to business, Ron, you're right. And the other two issues I have is that I sent you an email to ask you, when you're the court counsel rep, if you would make a motion at the court counsel on our behalf to have that contract renegotiated that we have with the court counsel, and with the court, in the fact that when you look at it, we only get audits if we ask for it, which I think is kind of stupid, okay, because now we're still waiting on the 2017 audits, which we haven't got. Second of all, if you read that contract, I don't know who overlooked it for the city, and I'm not disparaging anybody, but I sure wouldn't negotiate that contract for any of my members and have them sign it, because that's all one way. So I would like, and I don't know, Your Honor, if I need to make that a motion, or I need to do that through a resolution, but I would like to have that contract looked at by our attorney that we had for the issue of the retiree benefits that he was talking to us about, and look at renegotiating that contract where it's a little bit more one-sided instead of the way it is. And I think you're pretty familiar with the way it is, Your Honor. You have one vote. I'm sorry.
You need to understand, though, that it is one person, one vote. You have each of the judges have a vote. Each of the mayors of the Rouge and Ecorse both both have it, and the majority rules and as far as that goes. So if you would get that information with your supporter to carry for the next meeting, then we can do it that way.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you, Your Honor. My last issue is, I had talked to the council the last meeting about I-75 Dix, the conversation and the letter. Everybody was on the email chain about the county and the state maintaining that corridor. And I didn't get any feedback last council meeting because the county and the state agreed to sit down with us to discuss a better process of cleaning the area up because they've been neglecting that area for the last 8 years I've been on council. So I'm going to ask the question again through the chair, Your Honor. If anybody has an objection of sitting down and meeting with the representatives from Wayne County and the state in some kind of setting so we can talk about them maintaining their property there. Because that is one of the gateways to the city. I mean, quite frankly, we talk about the alleys and that. Look at I-75 and Dix. I mean, that's a major alley there that has garbage all over the place. Anyways, I guess what I'm saying, Your Honor, and through the chair and through the city manager, what do I need to do that or get that, or how do we address it?
Well, I've already been in communication with CARA committee and with the county. It's just a matter of setting up the time when to do it, that's all.
Okay. All right. The last thing is to the city manager, the wireless service. Have you ever straightened that out in the city, James? We're still having the same, I know it's storming outside, but I mean, we ever straightened that out? We hardwired that we talked about through the chair.
Well, so I had our IT company here, I think it was a week or two ago. They were looking at, they were doing, okay, I'm going to really screw this up. I think they were pinging each other as they were trying to they were connected to our Wi-Fi, and it was showing capabilities beyond what we need. So I'm not 100% sure, and I wanted to tonight before everybody logged in. I wanted to try and test a few things, but I just didn't get the chance. But we shouldn't have much of an issue in the future. So we'll try again. We've got a study session on the 13th, and I've got a few things to try to make sure things run smoothly. Biggest issue tonight, I think, is the weather.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, City Manager. All of you have a nice night and a safe night. Thank you.
With the storm that's coming in. Okay, alrighty. Thank you, sir.
Storm is here.
Folks, again, with it being 20 years since 9/11, it's changed our country, but there are people that are still feeling the impact of that. The first responders that came in are still passing away due to respiratory illnesses and such. So keep all of those folks in your thoughts and prayers, as well as everyone that Reverend Bone mentioned earlier. There are some people going through some very, very bad things. Lincoln Park is a city, not quite 100, but if you count the time as a village, that we are 100. A lot of our infrastructure is aging. As you heard before, if you were there, we're suffering major water loss. Your council is on top of those items, and we're looking at having to raise costs as far as the water bill goes, and as you heard that we're talking about maybe looking for a millage increase. These are not things that we take lightly, but we have to look at, we're elected to do what was best for the city and to make the city a better place to live. And the things that we're talking about, whether it's the cost for the alleys, the cost for the water lines, and the things that we're required to do, the additional police officers, these are things that we do because they have to be done. And we feel for everyone, especially you may be on a restricted income or the retirees and such, but we can't let things go, because you cannot go without water. You need to get from point A to point B, and you need to be safe in your city where you live. So those are the things, and why we're considering those things. Nobody likes to pay more cash. I'm one of the people that don't like to do that, but we do this do this for the overall benefit of the city and for all of you. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Tobin, and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night.